Okay, folks, this will be an interesting one. It's a funny one. Well, it's not funny, but it's kind of amusing what I'm using it for and what it's got to do with this campaign that I'm trying to launch. Let's see how we go with it. Oh, that scanner made a terrible noise, folks. Sorry. Blame it on Konica fucking Minolta. This is going to be an interesting one. Okay, let's see what we have. We have here a book, The Google Story. Oh, Google runs YouTube, of course. And yeah, I use a lot of YouTube, folks. Oh yeah, I love YouTube. Even though it's not as good as it should be, I still do love YouTube. It's one of my faves. It's one of the things that you just can't live without now once you've tasted it. So it's really an apt sort of book. I think that should be the size. So yeah, Google. Go Google this, Google that. I love to Google as well. But I'm not a fangirl. I do like it. Maybe I am a bit of a fangirl to a restricted sort of a way, but I love photocopiers, but I hate the companies. But whatever. Now that's a bit too big on there. I'm going to just maybe shrink it a bit because we cut the E off. But I do like Google, but of course I know that it could always be a lot better than what it actually is, because money is the most important thing in Google, just like anything that's tech. But you can't live without it. That's the problem. I just wish that there were more nerds and geeks running entities like that. I wish there were more nerds and geeks out there. Because they do the best job with tech. Now that's too small. We've got to get rid of that. They do the best job. You know, I have such faith in nerds and geeks. I really do, folks. I really love what they do. And it was a nerd and a geek. It was nerds and geeks that founded Google and YouTube and other social media platforms and shit. And nerds and geeks do it well, but I just don't understand why they have to sell to people who don't care, who just want to make money. I know it's nice to have a lot of money and not have to work, but I'll tell you one thing, if I could run a corporation, I'd keep running that corporation until the day I fucking die. I really believe that I'm the only one who can safely run a company and not get jaded by the love of money. So, you know, I really feel that if I was to have a corporation under my belt, I'd be running it myself, no shareholders. I'm going to own the company 100% and keep good and take good care of it. Make sure the products are produced are really up to scratch, and make sure that I use the money to help others as how should I put it, more than myself. So I'd like to help people more than myself running a company. I just can't trust that another rich person. I just feel I'd hate to watch as my company gets run into the ground. I mean, the people who sold YouTube, you know, how do they feel now that they see that YouTube's not as good as it used to be under these rich people? I really wish that people could love their companies more and keep them going. Oh, of course, Mark Zuckerberg still runs his Facebook, but he's unfortunately a greedy person, unfortunately. But, you know, well, what can you do? Ooh, this looks really googly. That looks really googly. I think that looks good. I think we could work with that. Maybe we could make it more contrasty, perhaps, but that looks really quite nice. It looks googly, but basically, if I founded a company, I just want to keep it and use it wisely. Like I'd like to, if I become rich running a photocopier company, if I become a photocopier mogul, I want to make sure that I make good use of the funding, you know, to help others, to help make the world a better place for other people, not just the people who are rich. I'd like to really make a difference with what I do. That's what I'd like to do, is to help others who are less fortunate, and most of the money can go towards that and scientific discovery to help make the planet a cleaner, greener and safer place for everyone, not just the rich. So I'm really interested in becoming a corporate entity myself one day. I know I can't do it now. I don't have I have problems with my brain function. I have problems with memory and that. I had a cord around my neck and came out feet first, and as a result I was unable to, I lost use of the parts of the brain that were damaged, appear to be the hippocampus and the short-term memory, and there's other parts that have probably been wrecked as well that I don't know about. But basically, yeah, now that's too big. But basically it's been difficult trying to live with this disability, which has been undiagnosed incidentally. But basically, yeah, it's not easy dealing with that and seeing the world in a money-fucked disarray, not having any power to make a difference. With, you know, it seems that the good people don't have the power and the bad people are the ones who somehow managed to get it. So anyway, that looks interesting. I don't like that. It looks a bit too yellow, even though in some ways I like that yellow. But basically, it's really difficult dealing with not being able to make a difference in this world when always the bad people appear to be in control. And they do. They control and they, you know, they do. And even though I do have a soft spot for Google and YouTube and shit like that, I do feel they're not up to scratch, as I was saying. You know, like sometimes some of the functions of YouTube that they had in the past were really indispensable, like being able to search your YouTube videos on your, you know, using the date that it was uploaded, so you could just put in a time period into your browser and say when you want the videos, and all the videos come up. But now you've got to remember the title of your video. You don't have a date. You can't search with a date. You have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling when you're trying to find videos that you know roughly when they were uploaded, but you don't know the name of them, and you can't just look up the days, the time period that you uploaded them. So that drives me nuts. Also, not having the video editor that we used to have, that really pisses me, because I could just upload videos that were not complete and then just put them together on the video editor, and voila, you get a copy of your videos. all beautifully stitched together in one seamless thing, but that disappeared. So there's a lot of things that have gone down the tube, pardon the pun, or should I say pardon, or should I just take advantage of that? It has, down the tube it's gone since then, and this, I really hate this new, they not being able to search for the dates, and they got rid of the old YouTube browser and they forced you onto the new one eventually, and I don't like the new one. But you know, I can't do anything. It's not, I can only just make videos. I'm just another user. I'm nothing. I have no power. I have no say in how these things go. You know, I have to just use what I can and leverage what I can to hopefully improve things. Let's see how we go. I don't like the colour of this. I made it too contrasty, I do think. Anyway, that looks interesting. I think now I can call this googly demo quits.